The US has attacked Iran, and now Iran is threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. What are the economic consequences of a war between the United States and Iran? Let's break it down. President Donald Trump informed the media yesterday that the United States had carried out a successful bombing attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, declaring that they have been obliterated.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
After these attacks, several scenarios are open and none of them has good prospects for the global economy. Oil prices will go up, there's going to be inflation, and there's going to be supply chain disruption. Let's start by explaining why oil prices would go up. If a war between the US and Iran breaks out, the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow stretch of water, could get shut down. This is important as it handles nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. That's not just a hiccup, that's a global supply shock. Most European countries rely heavily on oil from the Gulf, so if Hormuz closes, that oil flow stops and energy prices skyrocket. Countries like Germany and Italy, which depend heavily on cheap fuel for their factories, will be heavily affected. Now, the US is in a better position. It produces a lot of its own oil, but here's the kicker: oil is priced globally. So even if Texas is pumping like crazy, gas prices in the US would still go up. And here's the twist: Russia is the winner. Why? Because higher oil prices mean more money for Moscow, even with sanctions. With the Gulf oil off the table, Russian oil looks a lot more appealing, especially to buyers like China and India, who aren't bothered by Western sanctions. The second direct consequence of a war between Iran and the United States would be inflation. Here's the dirty secret about oil: it's in everything. It's not just what powers your car, it powers planes, ships, tractors, factories, even the plastic wrapper around your sandwich. So when oil prices spike, so does everything else. Transport costs rise, production gets more expensive, groceries, electronics, furniture, all of it starts costing more. And this happens when central banks like the European Central Bank not long ago and the Fed were preparing to cut interest rates to boost the economy. Now they may have to slam the brakes again just to keep inflation under control. The third direct consequence is that global trade would take a hit. Here's something most headlines miss: it's not just oil that flows through Hormuz. It's natural gas too, especially liquefied natural gas from Qatar, one of the biggest exporters on earth. If that flow stops, global liquefied natural gas prices explode, especially in Europe, which already struggled after losing Russian gas. But it gets worse. A war zone around Hormuz means higher shipping insurance. Because think about it, I don't know if my shipment will be bombed or not. And therefore, I need an insurance. That insurance is going to be more costly because there's more insecurity around it. There will be also longer shipping times and alternative and costly routes. So your car parts, your iPhone, even your food ingredients will take longer to arrive. And when they do, they will be a lot more expensive. Now let's think about the combined consequences of these 3 factors. Think about countries that run on industry, like let's say Germany, China, or India. They rely on cheap energy, fast shipping, and smooth global trade. If we take that away, and they're in trouble. With energy prices up and shipping routes clogged,
British factories have finally escaped their longest slowdown since the global financial crisis.
But not all of them can do
Managers'
that.
Index for the
So
manufacturing sector
even if
hit
they do
exactly
that,
50 in
if
January.
they raise prices,
It had
that
been
just
below
means
that
more
level,
inflation.
indicating
So there you
declining
go, it's a
activity
circle.
since May.
That means
Survey
slower
compiler
economic
IHS
growth in
Markit
the
put
long
the
run,
upturn
more
down to
unemployment,
December's
and
general
rising
election.
public anger.
It says Boris
It's a
Johnson's
chain
win ended
reaction, and it
short-term
hits
uncertainty,
fast.
leading to new
So in
orders
summary,
and
the
a
war
rise in
between Iran and
confidence.
the US can
There
have
may be signs of
catastrophic
hope too for
consequences for global
Eurozone
economies,
factories.
starting by
Activity is
higher
still
oil
contracting
prices,
there, with
continuing
January's
with more
PMI hitting
inflation and supply chain
47.9.
disruptions,
But
which
that is a
boost
9-month
inflation
high,
even more.
and IHS says the
Hit
green
the like
shoots of
button and
recovery are
subscribe if
now
you like the
visible.
video, and see
It
you in the
predicted
next
that
one.
the European Central Bank